I do not have an agenda. Does anybody have one I can use?
Brandon does.
What am I gonna do now?
I don't know.
Look off my screen, apparently.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So calling this meeting to order on October 2nd at 6 o'clock. Please call the roll.
Margie Davy,
I am here.
Lisa Marone,
Here.
Ken Osmond, Megan LaFond,
Here.
Vic Oliver,
Here.
Brad Spanbauer,
Here.
Akeisha Hayes. That is it. 5 present.
Good, we meet quorum. If anybody would like to make a public comment, now would be the time to do so. Seeing none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from our September 7th meeting. Would anybody like to make a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes from September 7th.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor of them as written?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty.
For the record, I'm gonna have Lisa as first and Brad as second on that.
Sounds
You guys
great.
both kind of.
Okay. The first thing we wanted to talk about tonight is the Environmental Leadership Award. This is something that we had partnered in the past with Southwest Rotary, I believe, on, and because of differences at Rotary now, they won't be participating this year, but we will still go ahead and do it, so we need to talk about what it is and then what we want to do about it. I think that we have a clip that I'd like to show you from 2001 that showed how part of it was done, at least.
No, 2022.
Was it 22 we did that?
Jan's-
Oh, yes, she died in 21.
Yeah, but she was this award is from 2022.
2022,
Yeah.
yes, it was given posthumously.
Okay.
In the 1980s, Jan became interested in environmental issues. From then until her death in June 2021, Jan served in various positions on boards of the Citizens National Resources Association of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame, the Winnebago Audubon Society, the Horicon Marsh Area Coalition, Shelter's Woods, and the Shelter Nature Area. In 2007, she helped found the Winnebago Lakes Council and wrote and published their newsletter for several years. She worked on the League of Women Voters Study Committee analyzing Oshkosh City parks, which eventually made recommendations for the Deep Park area to provide adequate recreational space for residents. One of the original members of the Oshkosh Sustainability Advisory Board, Jen served 10 years and was instrumental in writing the sustainability plan adopted by the City Council in 2012, compiling and writing 4 of its 10 chapters and editing the rest. She also provided seed money for a Build Your Own Rain Barrel workshop that continues to this day. Jan Scalpone spent over 60 years contributing to bettering the lives of women and more than 30 years working to save the planet. This is what leadership is about. I'm pleased to honor Jan with an Environmental Leadership Award.
So that's sort of what that's about.
I like that.
I wanted to review that today because today would have been Jan's 92nd birthday. And when I realized that we were actually meeting on her birthday, I thought, oh, we need to do this. So we will be putting out calls for, see, I probably shouldn't have done that right at the beginning because I'm like all choked up. We will be putting out calls for an Environmental Leadership Award. We do have, and I hope we still have it up on our website, the criteria for nominating someone for the award.
I'm assuming it's up there, yeah.
There are 4 or 5 different things that you can cite when you're for either an individual, a corporation, a business. As you can see, they don't still have to be living, but they do need to have contributed in Oshkosh, as Jan certainly did. And then in January, we'll be reviewing the applications that we have received, and we'll be making a decision on who would be receiving the awards next March at the State of the City. So is there anything I've forgotten to add to this?
Nope, I think this time of year, though, we always usually bring it up at the meeting, and because we kind of have to have all of our ducks in a row before March. I mean, long before, like February, January, we should really try to have everything completed. The
Yes,
state of the city will likely be in March, so that's typically when we do that presentation or issue that award.
And I think we had changed the guidelines maybe last year, so we did ask for those applications earlier.
Yeah.
So if anybody in the public, anybody on the board, anybody at the city who knows of somebody or some entity that they think should be honored. The same year that Jan got the award as an individual, we also gave an award to the,
WO?
yes, to UWO, no, was that the same year?
I think so, yep.
To UWO when they had done some marvelous stuff with aquatic.
Harmful
Yes.
algal blooms group.
Yeah, it had a name that's about 10 words long, so, and about 10 people were listed, so yeah. And that's the sort of nomination we need, so.
Is there, can someone be nominated more than once? Like if someone had won an award in a previous year, could they be nominated again? I guess my question is there a place where one could find previous recipients of the awards?
We,
Oh, yeah.
we have the plaque that's supposed to be displayed out here, but I don't think we have the physical names of the individuals or groups that have won anywhere. I don't think we have that listed online.
We definitely
We could.
should.
I mean, that would be easy to do.
It'd be nice, like
Past winners, just to,
on a nomination page, like,
Yep.
by the way, celebrate our previous honorees.
There it is.
past awards, and, you know, Brad, that's a very good question. It's never come up before that I'm aware of that, could we nominate the same entity again for, I would think
Something
if they
different.
had done
Like
something
a different
different,
project. Yeah.
Like that same group of researchers.
Yes.
I mean, that was a unique one, right? That's part of the reason why the award was given, was because of the uniqueness of the collaboration, right? But if that same thing occurred again and they researched something different,
Yeah, why not?
right?
The topic has changed. I feel like as long as something has changed or grown, that should be fine.
And I would say, go ahead and nominate
Everyone.
whoever, whatever, and
Yeah.
if the committee that's looking at the applications feels it's too redundant, they could always choose just not to award it.
Right.
And anyone can nominate, but we are reviewing the nominations.
That is correct, yes.
Got it.
Anyone can place a nomination, anybody in the city. Or outside the city, as long as it's for somebody inside the city.
Sure.
Yep. Makes sense. Okay, that it for that?
When are nominations due?
Did we say December 31st?
We could check the application. I think there might be a
Okay, like a date on there?
timeline
We have
on the,
Yeah, we have the full timeline on there. There's
Okay.
a date. Yeah.
it'd be nice for us to at least review, like I would say at the next meeting or the next meeting would be like, before the end of the year would be best.
Ideal.
Ideal.
Okay.
I think we better put that on for the next meeting. so
Probably
we
not a
have
bad idea.
Figure out, yeah.
Some more time on it.
Do we have any nominations thus far, or do we have some sort of, like, how is this getting out to people? Like, how would,
In the past, we've only just like done a Facebook post
okay.
about it. Like that's it. There's nothing ever been put in the paper on it or.
We had discussed earlier in the year, like, I want to say in April or May,
Something to think
doing
about.
more promotion with it and getting the city more involved in doing that.
I
Cutting it a
think-
little close now, but
Yeah, but I mean, I think we could. I can ask. Like, what's the process of getting something like that into the paper?
Yeah. It wouldn't
Well,
be too late
actually,
for,
we can just write a blurb and submit it.
Brandon, are you able to pull up the timeline on the nomination?
And try to find
Paperwork
it.
or-
Had
or whatever.
you just found it, Megan, when you were looking
no,
for
I
it?
can't find it, but.
Okay.
Wrong spot. I can't.
I think it's buried in Brandon's email.
Well, I know where it is in my folders, but were you under the impression that it was available online?
I thought it might have been, I was hoping it was.
I guess how does, I have so
I
many
thought we
questions now.
discussed doing that.
How do they get the application?
Yeah.
How do you nominate a person
Because
that's
I
not
can't-
out there? With a deadline in 2 months.
I see a PDF, but
I have
that's.
so many
Leadership
questions.
award, okay.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
it.
that's it.
Yep.
Okay.
So here's the,
It says draft award cycle for 2018, 2019, so that's why.
yeah, this is kind of old, so this might be different. I can, if you don't mind, I can try to find it quick. The updated
But so
one.
maybe like could nominations be reviewed in December? That kind of looked like we might have like one additional month. We could review them, we could decide on them in January or February, and then the award would be given in March.
Yeah, I found the same document you just had up. It says October to December, market award via publication on SAB webpage and through personal contacts, email, selected media. October to January, nominations accepted through January 31st. February, nominations are reviewed, and March, award recommendations to SAB. Award made at City Council. That's a lot for March.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not good. All happened in March because Oshkosh Media wants time to put things together for it.
Of course they
It took
do.
quite a while to put together the stuff we did last year.
Margie, I could write a blurb and send it to you if you want.
I would love that. Thank you very much.
This was redone in 21.
Okay.
So applications through January 20th.
You see that okay?
So like
Yeah.
at our January,
Whoa.
Hello.
at our
can see that.
January meeting would be the review.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then February, kind of like, yeah, we would sort of finalize the recommendations, and then those would be given in State of the City in March.
Yes, we're kind of
That
kind of a
feels
month
okay.
behind, but
Yeah, well,
Sure. Better than never.
Mostly,
Right.
we just need people to know they need to get those in by the end of the year.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
Right. So if we can get some sort of,
thing out
so if you
now.
can do a blurb and then if you can
gives
just
them-
make sure that gets shared to also get posted on our Facebook page, then we as individuals can go in and share it and all that kind of fun stuff too.
You want the blurb by?
Sooner rather than
soon,
later.
we
End
can,
of the week.
if you
Yeah, I was like
send me-
Friday.
End of the week.
Megan, if you
What?
send me an email, I can probably help you because we have past
Draft
like
language.
memo,
Sure,
draft
sure, sure.
language that we, like this award memo is something that we have
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. So we might be able to pull some information from there. So if you send me an email, I can maybe get to that. Can figure some time to get together.
End of the week. Tomorrow's too soon. End of the
Yeah.
Friday sounds great.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay.
A
We're good on
plan.
that.
Does anybody want a copy of that? Should I just kind of resend that out maybe to everybody?
I
want
think that'd be a
her.
Great idea, because it has, is that the one that has the criteria at the top?
Yeah. Email, and that was redone
In the timeline.
November of 21.
Okay.
So it's still recent. You're
No,
not.
you're okay.
we
Oh,
can
you're
still
totally
see.
fine.
You're fine.
Email
You're like
out.
right
You
below
were
it.
short enough, yes.
Short enough.
Guidelines.
Okay. Next on our agenda is the monthly sustainability Facebook topics, which Vic had thoughtfully put together for us and shared with us last month. Have you been getting things in? I just realized I have 2 more coming at you, but I forgot to send them.
Yeah, Ken was working on something, but I don't know where that ever landed. I haven't heard anything from him since the last meeting. Have you?
Nope.
Okay. So no movement there is what I'm hearing.
Okay. Well, I just guess we'll have to get a move on if we want it to be very viable, huh?
I'll make a little note for myself to maybe just send an email to Ken,
We just touch base.
asking for an update.
That'd be great.
Thank you.
I mean, the point of this is really just the theme matches the month of the year. I mean, it's not like it has to be done this exact way either. Yeah, they're just great ideas to keep us ahead of things like Earth Day and Bird Fest and like stuff like that. We're
Just
not behind.
just for my mental refresher, if I see something that I would like to be shared via the SAB Facebook page, I just send it to you via an email, and then
Yeah.
you post it on the page.
Yeah, like if you take a screenshot, there's a couple ways of doing it. If you're on your personal page and you don't personally want to reshare a post and tag SAB in it,
Right.
then you could just take a screenshot of that post from the DNR or whoever you think it's, or wherever it's from that you think it's worthwhile being on our page. You could just take a screenshot of it and send it to me in an email, and I can log in and find that post and reshare it.
Okay.
I mean,
Got it.
that's easy enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I too get it. Like, I'm not gonna personally
Right.
share something from my page, my personal page, to SAB like if you did that, I would get a little notification that says so-and-so wants to share on your page, you want to allow it, and I would click yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that allowable?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you choose to do that, there's nothing wrong with it. And in fact, maybe we
It's just
should be
gonna-
tagging SAB more often.
So
It just depends the involvement you want to have with your own personal social media page.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then people will then find you, is my word of caution.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
but could
And
another
bloggers.
entity
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could
Kind of
Entity
cross-
would be safer.
cross post share with you?
right. If you as the CERT posted something and they wanted to
Share it.
at SAB Oshkosh, whatever the page is called, then
Okay.
I think I would get a notification and I would have to like accept or deny that post.
Do you have is there a time in your week where you're kind of dedicating, like, I'm going to do an hour of social media posting? And I'm like legit
No.
asking this out of total ignorance. No. So like it's when it comes to you.
Yep.
Got it.
If for instance I'm on my personal page before I'm in bed or something and I come across, because I have on my personal page a couple things that I like that are sustainably related,
Well,
I'll
then
just like make
also
a
share
mental
them.
note to try to like find it tomorrow. That doesn't always work the best,
Got it.
but
Okay.
you know, like I make a very small attempt
Yeah.
Got it.
Which is fine.
to try to get things out there.
Okay.
Today I posted that we have a meeting.
Yeah, I saw
you know,
that one.
Like it's not
So I
much.
used to have it linked to my private account on my
That's-
phone, and I would just switch back and forth.
Yeah, so it's
like how
really
I have
easy.
the
I mean, for me, I just click on my
Society.
page, and then like I have
Yeah, you
all
just
these.
switch your you switch
Yeah,
your
that's
profile.
what I do with
so
mine.
That's what I did
it's
too.
pretty easy to switch back and forth to the different pages.
Right.
It's just getting him the content that we want shared
Correct.
is on us.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
So I'll follow up with Ken and see where he's at. If there's any update with that group that was working with him, the business
Yeah,
group or
that'd
something.
be great. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
because that was the point. Is that like
Yeah, the
this
interns.
becomes a burden to like create
Yeah.
content. Like it's incredibly time consuming, and it got to the point where I was just being
Over it.
incredibly redundant.
Well, and even if they were just to mock up a couple of templates that we could just pop stuff into, that could be incredibly useful too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, I'm just gonna harp on it. I try to do it anytime we talk about this. Just always think if you see something that you think is worthwhile sharing on that page, just make it a point to
Screenshot it.
screenshot it and send me a quick email.
If you see something, share something.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm better at that too.
Okay.
Pretty
Expect
close.
Memories of London.
It worked.
The next thing on our agenda is the Sustainable Communities Network event. I guess it's an event, it's a meeting. It's the Sustainable Communities Network, which is a mouthful, so we'll go with SCN from now on, is a group that has been meeting for, I would guess, 8 or 9 years. I don't actually remember. It's kind of, there are times when it's more active than others. It's a group that encompasses anybody, any group that wants to be a part of it, like City of Menasha. There's a credit union in the valley that, is interested. I'm trying to think who else. I don't even remember.
Towns,
what we were-
communities, counties, people, volunteer groups that are sustainably conscious and want to update people on what's happening in their area.
And Lisa and I had attended a meeting 3 months ago, which was the latest restart to the group. And for some reason, we volunteered to host it this month. in Oshkosh.
Solid.
I'm pretty sure that was Lisa. I don't think. I
No, we were
did that.
voluntold.
That feels better.
Yeah, we were highly encouraged. I don't yet have a firm location for it, but we will get that out very soon. It will be something that any of you who wish to attend are more than welcome to. It's on October 30th, which is a Monday, and it will be from 4 till 5 or 6. I'm looking at a venue that's very near the highway because of people coming from so many different areas. It would be easier for them. If all else fails, we may have to meet at City Hall, so we always have that option.
Yes.
I had inquired about using the Lakeshore Park new building, our Four Season building. It is still possible that that may be ready in time, but I can't get a commitment from them. So we can't advertise that we're going to be there until it would be, apparently it's not finished yet.
And when that meeting and location and stuff is finalized, by all means, we can push that out on the community development site, the SAB site, maybe even the neighborhoods sites, we could, on Oshkosh Healthy Neighborhoods, so.
And, anybody who works for a company that has a sustainability
Right.
group or plan or, something too, and there are several. There are a lot of them in Oshkosh. We just don't hear about them, so. The university, I think, does a little something with sustainability.
Oh, really?
Just a touch.
Interesting.
So that's coming up on October 30th. More information to come on that. I also wanted to mention under that same topic, though, earlier today, Brandon had sent us some information on a Citizens Climate Lobby event that will be held at the university on October 18th, which is a Wednesday night. And that will be in Reeve, room number 221, which I think is the big thing upstairs, it's kind of a
Or one of them.
larger room, yeah. And the person who will be presenting is an old friend of mine. Her name's Madeline Para, and she had actually come to Oshkosh and helped us start the CCL chapter here. And she went on from that, from being a local leader in Milwaukee, I want to say, and then she went on to be a state leader, and then she became the national president, and now she's retiring from it. But she's been a lot of high energy, working very hard for all these years, so, and there's been progress, so it'll be interesting to hear what she has to say. And anybody who can make it to that, I highly encourage you to come. I know the Citizens Climate Lobby is pushing it through the university too. So.
So Wednesday, October 18th,
Wednesday,
6:30.
October 18th, yes,
6:30.
6:30.
From 2 to.
I remember seeing it come through another announcement stream, but
Yeah.
got it.
And that takes us to kind of a recap from last month when we had the Wisconsin Local Government Climate Coalition come. And she spoke to us about this resolution that we all got a copy of. And I don't know if anybody, I know we all got it in our packets. Did anybody have time to add anything to it, to write anything up on it? I know
Like-
sometimes some of you do, so.
I printed out, thanks to Emma, she found some, Emma was off today, otherwise she'd be here too, but she found 4 other communities that have passed this resolution.
Fantastic. Locally?
One of them, City of Baraboo, City of Appleton, I think Milwaukee, and last one's drawn a blank
I
on.
want to say Madison did too, but I
don't
I know
think-
Wausau did.
Maybe it was Wausau.
well, so there are comparables in there.
Yeah. Village of McFarland. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
So-
Appleton, Baraboo, McFarland, and Milwaukee County.
In looking through some of these, the one paragraph, in my opinion, that seemed would be difficult if we kept it in was one of these at the end. I think it was establishes a climate goal by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So, like, for instance, Appleton.
To be clear, we did establish a climate goal,
Right.
but it was never adopted by council. And so because of that, we can't use it in things like this or in things like grant requests. So you're saying that second to last paragraph where it says optional, we really don't have anything to say there, so we should.
Yeah, Appleton Appleton's, they did it different. Like, they have listed a number of things that they're just doing. Like, this, they reference the state plan to retire coal plants no later than 2045. But they don't have anything that's in the future. They are just saying, these are the things that we've done. In 2005, they established a 25% energy reduction goal by 2025. That's the only one that references the future. 2010, they joined the Green Tier Legacy Communities. 2019, they passed a climate change resolution, so we'd have to look at that and see what that actually says. In 2021, they created a master plan to move Appleton towards sustainability. So, like, they just worded it differently, right? Like,
They gave a report, not goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're committing to it, just not super
right.
specific.
Whereas Dane County is much different. So we can email these out, and then I guess my thought, I kind of emailed Brad on this because this was something that you kind of had brought up to me prior to the meeting, was this was kind of the next step after that presentation you guys received. So I think, take a look at this, the thing that we got from the coalition, and then maybe review what the other communities that have passed it have said and done, and then try to formulate what this resolution for Oshkosh is going to look like. You have to think, like, whatever we're going to present to council, they have to be okay with, following through with that, right? So, and what does that look like, and what does it mean financially, and
Well, and the optional whereases that they have in this.
Right, the first two are pretty optional, and then it seems like the last one is optional if not already adopted. Like, just cut those two suckers right out of there.
Well, it says optional, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have
If
to.
we had adopted it,
For those, yeah.
well, no, for the third one too.
Optional, comma, if not already adopted.
Okay, think about what that means though.
I understand that.
yeah, they want you. They did. I read this as they're wanting you to add it if you haven't already adopted some type of goal. That's how I read this one.
That's how I read it too.
Can
That's how I
we,
took it too.
but we cannot add a goal because we have a goal, but it was not formalized by city council.
I don't know anything about
That's why
that.
we can't
This
just
was-
plug it in here.
This was
Okay.
all before Brandon's time with us, but yes, it was part of the ICLEI milestones. And we actually had worked with, through a grant, we had worked with the East Central Regional Planning and had gone through spent a lot of time and effort on establishing these goals. We do have a sheet for that, for ICLEI milestone 3, I want to say. And because it referred to adopting other parts of sustainability plans and stuff, things that the council hadn't committed to, the particular council at that time chose not to adopt any of the milestone recommendations, any of the climate goals that had been established, like, based on, and they were all based on 2007, so they're old now anyway. But we had it done, and then it didn't go anywhere, which kind of dampened the enthusiasm of some members of the sustainability board at the time.
So are we able to quickly kind of walk through this and just see what we would fill in, or can we not do that right now?
No, that's fine. Absolutely, yeah.
I think maybe we should.
This is not an editable document, though. I'd have
Yeah,
to.
that's
Right.
fine, but just so,
That'd be good.
Marky's got a.
so we've got, so someone added in, there's that first top whereas the city of Oshkosh has cause for concern, right, blah, blah, blah.
I did my best to add in Oshkosh where it made sense, but then some of it I left it open.
So first optional, whereas reference previous resolutions passed by the local government establishing climate or sustainability goals. I mean, would we want to have something in there about,
The entire sustainability plan,
yeah, I mean, right, like pursuant to the city sustainability plan?
adopted in
Yeah, so-
2012 and 2017.
Yeah.
This will be helpful. So why don't you take a look at these other communities, and then you can see what they did.
Their third. Essentially what you just said, wasn't it?
Yeah, like basically, like, so this one says, whereas on July 26, 2021, the village board accepted the completion of the McFarland Sustainability Plan, establishing various village sustainability goals, including generating 100% of renewal of municipal energy from renewable sources by 2040, community-wide by 2050.
Yeah, so that worked.
But I don't think our sustainability plan has any benchmarks or goals like that in
It
it.
doesn't have dates in it like that.
No.
And that's fine. I mean, I think you could
don't think
leave
it-
that part vague and
Okay.
just say,
Correct.
whereas the city of Oshkosh approved the city sustainability plan in 2012 and 2017, and, right, and then
And
next
skip that
optional, whereas local power utility, right, whoever our utilities are, have similar goals. I mean, I think they're just trying to provide you with example language of like what you could infuse.
Yep.
If whoever the main utility is for Oshkosh. I sort of have to assume it's
WPS,
WPS
probably.
and We Energies. So we could look up, I could probably find their goals somewhere in my files relatively quickly about what their carbon reduction strategy is. I mean, we can also point to the state of Wisconsin, like Executive Order 38 says all electricity within the state should be renewable by 2050.
That's the next whereas, though. Has a goal of 100% carbon-free electricity.
Oh,
Oh,
then it's
yeah,
already
it's
in there.
already there.
Perfect.
Nice.
I wouldn't put that.
That's great.
You don't want to double down on it, Vic.
I mean,
a
yes.
little aggressive.
Well, I would argue that 2050 is too late. We need to be
Not disagreeing.
before that. But can we just scroll down
Yes.
a little bit? Like that all feels, I don't know, like is that
You don't really get to
kind of
change
as
that.
is?
Yeah.
We really just get to fix or potentially change what is in
Bolded
bold,
and-
is my
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah.
Did like those other communities, I didn't look at this with a fine tooth comb, can you just real quickly check and see if they changed any of that
Yeah,
language
if
in there?
Point number 3 is still
Ooh, what is the
2040 and
city
all
of
the other ones.
Appleton?
Appleton's looks pretty.
Where's this is different.
Yeah, but like this part feels the same. Supports the following, like that's kind of similar. So like similar, you
It's
know.
pretty close.
It's pretty close.
Well, and you'll notice it's not saying Oshkosh, but it says that this Wisconsin Local Government Climate Coalition is what supports these things.
Right, right. That's saying like we're going to be a partner with them. They support us in these ways.
In this mission.
There's no cost.
Right.
We share the goals. And
Resolved by
so I guess
the-
that's my question is
This would say City of Oshkosh Common Council.
okay.
Okay.
And then that last kind of optional section, to me,
For the resolve that the City of
Oshkosh establishes a climate goal. I mean, I
goal.
think we should establish a climate goal.
I mean, that's something you can definitely propose to council.
And
Okay.
that
Gonna
one
be a lot of
does
questions.
need to be specific.
Right. And then, if others want to look at those,
Go for it.
the name of sustainability or office designated
But
is authorized to comment or intervene on behalf of the city. Oh.
In contested race.
So is this
Dockets.
saying, so I guess the question, Brandon, this is a question I have,
Me too.
is what goes in that space? Is that,
What did
Is that
those
SAB?
people pick?
Well, right. So
that-
I read that. That's kind of how I read it when I first went through it.
What the-
The Sustainability Advisory Board,
See that?
the City of Oshkosh Sustainability Advisory Board is authorized to commit or intervene on behalf of.
That's not on
But that's
this
not
one.
going to happen.
yeah, that's
We
not gonna
didn't do
happen.
it this one. Baraboo.
so is there a city staff person or is there a city department?
Oh, see on this one, okay, it's the Community and Economic Development Department Director and Associate Planner are authorized to comment
Right.
on.
So that's probably what it would end up being because our department has the staff as the staff liaison to this board. So it'd probably be similar to
So
that.
it could be like that.
But then this one doesn't even have that statement.
This
That's what I mean,
has,
some of them are just completely
This one
different where
has
they don't
city,
have, they
sure
just
is
they just
authorized
changed
to
it.
comment on.
You know,
Or
if
generally
But they still
support.
accepted it.
resolved, we wouldn't
I
have
mean,
Mm-hmm.
This one has it like that.
which way?
yeah, I mean, I guess.
Baraboo.
On
No.
behalf of the
Which way, though?
city is contested.
With it or
rate
without
cases,
it?
Dockets,
With it.
investigations, and other proceedings before the Wisconsin Public Service Commission that relate
That
to
was
the
the city
city's-
administrator.
Okay. So it's really related to the final optional section because it's basically saying where does the buck stop if there is something that is contested, like
Right.
with who holds the
So maybe that's even the city manager,
correct.
that piece there. So further resolve, the City of Oshkosh city manager is authorized to comment or intervene on behalf of
City.
City of Oshkosh in
In rate.
contested rate cases, dockets of it, yeah.
I would argue that we maybe check with Jessica. Was it Jessica who came?
Allison Madison. is her
Allison,
name,
that's
yeah.
And see if these last two paragraphs are mandatory for acceptance. Because
It appears not.
I That was my take on it too, but it appears it's not.
Because you could just get rid of them and have it be further resolved something completely different, whatever you think makes
Well,
sense.
you don't have to have it resolved. You could just
Right.
stop.
This one just says, now therefore be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Appleton that the City of Appleton officially joins the Wisconsin Local Government Climate Coalition in their efforts.
Yep, and it's
Very
done.
Close
That's
to that.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I would just steal that shamelessly, borrowing your pen.
Go for it.
Right.
And that was actually the third paragraph back on what we were given. from
I'll give
her,
this one
so they
back, too.
stopped there too.
Right.
I think this other is kind of optimistic on their part to get local governments to,
And appreciate the optimism in there, but
well,
Dane County.
You would
I really
not,
don't really like
you would
that
not
one.
suggest adding in that final carbon reduction goal section?
I
If you,
don't think that we could get the council to pass it.
not without having clear
a very much larger conversation.
picture of how it's going to be accomplished. I don't see them supporting
Have
it.
to.
Got it.
Yeah, even when we had the full 30-page whatever that we gave to them and said, this
Yeah.
is what East Central and the Sustainability Board worked on together for the last year, and this is where we got all this information.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we don't know how you're gonna accomplish that, so, no.
Wow.
But we need to find a copy of that and make sure that we all have a copy of it, though, just so that we can all be in the loop on that.
The ICLEI stuff,
Yeah.
I believe that's online. I was kind of looking for it before when you
Most
guys.
specifically, the one
Oh,
that,
here they are,
Right
here.
there.
East Central wrote
Yep.
with us.
It's there.
So it's under the sustainability website. So you go to government, sustainable Oshkosh, municipal programs, and then here are the ICLEI milestones.
Appleton's is
The thing is,
more
the
like what we're
last
gonna
one
wanna do.
isn't- Can you click on milestone two? Okay, yeah, that is the one, but, and how many pages does that run? 44. I was off a little. There was a bit of work done there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you might want to check that out and just see.
Got it.
Yeah, and here's that agreement the U.S. Mayor's Climate Protection Agreement.
Well, that was the very first thing we started
Mhm.
with, I think, yeah.
So
That was
that
before
was
the-
signed?
That was signed. I believe Frank Tower was the mayor at the time and signed
Oh.
that.
Okay.
Frank Tower, yeah. So this goes back to my similar thoughts with Green Tier Legacy communities. It's like, so the council has signed off to be a part of that, right? And then it's like falls back on staff to do all the things that are required to be a part of that community. Which is fine, but it's another task added to a staff's workload where it's not previously, part of what they're supposed to do. So other things have to get put to the wayside then, right? Or it just makes it more difficult to accomplish all of the tasks that you're supposed to accomplish. So, again, we went down the path last year about trying to hire, get the city council to hire another position. I see if, let's just say, for instance, council was in fact okay with establishing a climate goal and reducing community greenhouse gas emissions by whatever percentage by whatever year. Coming up with a plan to do that, right, is a big task. So how does that get accomplished?
It sounds like a lot of the work has already been done.
A lot of the work has already been done, but it's based on old information, so
Sure.
I'm not sure how easy that is to update.
Some of it,
Or if it's necessary.
yeah, some of it would probably need to be updated. I mean, you'd want to,
We may be able to pull some of the information from the MIT study that he did.
that's right.
Well, tell me what your thoughts are on the climate resiliency
Officer.
plan, or right, didn't you have that conversation? Climate resiliency?
Yeah, there is a Denny.
Well, okay, so I guess my question is does something like a climate resiliency plan play into establishing these metrics and goals? Would something like this coincide with that?
It
I would think
Good,
so.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Or I guess
Hope
or
we
is
can
my,
At least use the same data to,
Yeah, I mean, like, I think there's a lot of information that it sounds like previous sustainability boards and others have done. Maybe they're based on some older
Data
facts and
points.
figures, but like, I think if you just bump everything up to 2015, I mean, even now at this point, you probably almost want to use like 2018, 15 or 18 as like a baseline.
so like all those datas that we were looking at, remember that book that I showed you from 2009? I'm sure that all that stuff was done because of the,
Right.
so similarly, what we're trying to accomplish now is to kind of do that again. So we're already getting some of the local energy data points from the municipal standpoint to start a
Have a
baseline,
baseline.
right? To kind of think about what it would take to, or what it would mean, right, if you're going to reduce your greenhouse gas emissions by 45% from a gas and electrical perspective. What exactly would that mean, right? You have to know what your baseline is first.
I am perfectly fine as a board member leaving those last two sections out if we don't think that they are going to be passed.
Yeah, I think we go for progress, not perfection.
I would also
Yes.
I would also encourage to be bold and leave them in, and if they want to
Reduce, take it out.
take it out or ask for some more details, I think that's worth having that conversation at that point.
Yeah, we can always
We'll
have a joint
two
meeting.
versions.
Sure.
That makes sense.
So my question is, Brandon, is this something that you will draft, or would you like one of us to fill this out? I see Vic is marking up
I have a lot of thoughts.
paperwork.
Yeah, I would entertain all of those options. So
Okay.
I already went through it and filled out what I felt comfortable filling out. So the rest of it, yes, I would leave somewhat up to you guys to propose what you're thinking.
Do you have an editable version of
Yeah.
it? Could you send it out?
Sure.
Thank you. I would love to fill things in.
Do you want this one?
What
back?
were those
you've
years
got the
you
first
mentioned?
page done already. What
Pretty
was
much.
that?
What were those years you mentioned before about our sustainability plan?
The sustainability plan was, in 2012, it was approved the first time,
Uh-huh.
and it was
2019?
approved in 2019,
Okay,
I think February.
thanks much.
And
I gave that one back
if
to you.
you have a list of questions, Vic, feel free to send those to me and I can help with those dates.
Thanks.
Or
Will do.
anything else, I guess, that's in
I'll
regards
essentially
to.
give you the draft I've compiled between the three. Four. And I sent you some Facebook posts already.
Okay,
It
sounds
worked well under pressure.
good. I like it.
Thinking about your question about the resiliency plan, I don't know, maybe you, Brad, is it possible to just mathematically use old data and kind of extrapolate from that, or are things changing too quickly for that to be at all accurate? Because I know our weather's been really weird this last year, which means that all of our air conditioning and heating uses have been
Irregular.
abnormal.
Yeah, I would say by and large, you probably want to more or less, not like, I don't not say start over, but I think you'd have to do a little bit more digging to use more recent data.
Something from
Yeah,
2015
because
or
you're,
2018 I heard you
right,
mention.
yeah, your heating degree days, your cooling degree days are going to be different from year to year just based on, you know, how the weather has transpired, and yeah.
The newest information we probably could get would not be, I mean, how new would even be available? Is it a 5-year lag, a 3-year lag?
I have no
We
idea.
got data from 2020, I think, right? Or
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean you can get, so if you're just talking about, you know, assessing, like if you just wanted to assess city-owned properties and their energy consumption, yeah, I mean I think anything within the
Last
last
year.
calendar year would be, you could get. You can even get year-to-date data.
But we could get the
which
whole
is-
city data, all of residential too.
That's another,
And,
yeah,
and
like that's another
industrial,
layer.
yeah, it's a whole nother layer. Yeah, a lot more to process.
But it gives you a lot more accurate picture in the long run.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So you have to think of.
and there,
When we were working on those milestones, we did have pretty much a full-time volunteer that was in the planning department helping with that for several months.
Right.
So I know and you can't do that.
And again, there may be key pieces of previous, like through the plan, through the ICLEI stuff, through the MIT study. Like there may be key things that you'd want to pull out and use as your main pieces of launch point for making future goals.
Can't we just throw it all in one of those bingo turning things and pull out what we
Chat
need?
GPT.
Yeah, let's do that.
I wish I could do that with a lot of.
A lot of
A
stuff,
lot of
yeah.
things.
Okay.
So again, I would encourage, I guess, before the next meeting, this, like Margie said, this is old data, but these East Central Wisconsin Plan Commission, I'm assuming a number of planners worked on this when it was going through, and they do a pretty bang out job of when they put together these plans, so that they probably touched on a bunch of different pieces, which I would agree with you, Margie, to a point. There's probably things in here that are still relevant today that could be used, but a lot of the numbers, the physical data points are probably just off.
The specifics would be skewed.
But it would be a good idea, like you could replicate what they've already kind of, whatever data they looked at, you could just look at the same data again and do it.
So it could kind of be a guide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a guide for sure.
Yeah.
So I would just encourage, if Vic, I'll send you that, and then if you want to get to me, if you guys want to propose something to council, let's just have the draft done a week before, no later than a week before,
Yeah.
preferably 2 weeks before the next meeting, because I can then
Yeah.
pass it around.
Send it through the rounds, yeah.
The
Yes.
sooner you get me the editable version, I can have this
And
done
it may
probably in
actually
like an
have to
hour.
go to the city
Okay.
manager rather than
No
the
big deal.
council first.
Yeah.
It's
Let
just
him give it to them.
dictation at this point.
Okay.
It's just-
Good conversation. Like
Yeah.
it.
Thanks for pushing us to go through that, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
I was just rereading what the minutes had said, and we covered it all on that subject from last month.
Good.
Okay, I do have one other question, and this would,
Can I really quickly jump in? It's still related to that last item, kind of. Margie and I did meet with the university environmental studies groups, and they picked their 4 projects. Yep, and one of them is climate resiliency. So,
Fantastic.
so they're potentially going to have a decent report of like
Yeah.
the building blocks of what it would take to do a resiliency plan, I think is kind of what their goal is.
That's amazing.
I love
Do you know
it.
what the other 3 are by chance?
Yes, the other 3 are, some of them are kind of redos of previous ones.
Yeah.
They're gonna look at permeable pavement and pavers again.
Okay.
Just technology has changed.
That was a good one
And
the
we're
first
getting
time.
we're getting kind of positive movement internally too. So, one of them is doing urban trees or forestry again.
Sure.
They want to look at the city and how we
Variety.
can do
Yeah,
a better
yeah.
job. And the 4th one, rats. I'm not gonna remember it. I have to look at my email.
It's totally fine. Okay.
Can I quickly comment on one of those? We recently had the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation at UWO. We planted 50 fruit trees on the Oshkosh campus. And the arborist who works for Fruit Tree Planting Foundation made me aware that there is significant funding, particularly available to municipalities for things like updating or conducting a like a municipal tree survey, right? Kind of a city
Yep.
canopy cover.
Yeah, we're looking at getting. I just had a conversation today about it. I think today we applied for a grant to get. It was either $25,000 or $50,000, but that was for tree plantings only.
Okay.
And it was like you had to do it like in coordination with something else, and it was for the private side, so not in the terrace.
Oh,
It was
sure.
like where we put up X amount of dollars, they get matched, and then that money can be used. 50% of it has to be used for public plantings, and the other 50 has to be used for private plantings, something like that. I'm not.
Sure.
I just got briefly told about it, so.
Interesting.
But that'd be good for those students to know about for their
Oh. Waste and recycling bins at parks and special events.
Hallelujah.
Yes. There we go.
Another thing they're
That's
gonna
what it
look at.
is.
Favorite one. I'm already biased.
Yes.
I'm already
A couple of
biased.
times. Why does that keep coming up and of such interest to students? Maybe we really need that.
Just saying.
I
Just a
wonder.
thought.
Just a
Okay.
thought.
Solid idea.
Mm.
Now I totally forgot what the other thing was I wanted to
Oh,
tell you.
I see, and I cut you off. I'm
You
sorry.
derailed her.
I know. I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
It was
probably
good to
wasn't
know.
all that important, and I can just remember it for next month. By next month, maybe. Okay, so what I have on the agenda items for the next meeting, oh, I know what it was.
Ah,
See, that always works.
good job. What is
So
it?
this is an agenda item for a future meeting because that's all
Okay.
we've got left on here.
Okay.
If we were to, the information for the fall and winter farmers markets has now been released. If we were to, would anybody here on the board be interested in working at a farmers market on a Saturday morning to do outreach to the public for sustainability? I see one hand out.
Yes. As long as it's planned well enough in advance.
Yes, agreed.
Yes, that's
Yes.
my only caveat. I'll do it as long as I know about it.
Do we know where all our farmers market stuff is?
In my office?
That's
Ah,
exciting.
there we go.
Some of it needs updated, but
Probably. Needs to be
At
gone through.
least we know where it is.
yes, and we
Good.
had a lot of different pamphlets and
Uh-huh.
stuff that were prepared for that, so we should
sure
be
were.
out there sharing them.
Yep.
Okay. Let me just
Fantastic.
make note of those names that I saw little hands go up for there.
I made a note as well.
Ah, good. Yeah, if we
It's
both
been
got
fun
it.
before, let's just put it that way.
Uh-huh. And.
It's not like you have to do every one, you know, if you did once a month or something. Or,
Yeah.
Oh,
long as I-
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they will give us 2 for free during the season.
Ooh.
That's usually
Like
how
Because
free.
we're a nonprofit,
Yep.
Local group.
local municipality, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Okay, well, since there is some interest on that, I will pursue that and bring information back for us for next month. I have down the Environmental Leadership Award that we want to have prepared for press release, whatever.
Yep.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that you would like to see on the next?
Well, we should bring the resolution back up again.
Environmental
Yes, we
leadership.
should, because by then Vic will have it written for us and it'll be all set to go.
And then the class presentations will be at the December.
Yep.
The December meetings.
They
That will
take over
probably-
the entire
That will be
meeting.
the meeting, so.
Probably the meeting, yeah.
The whole meeting, yeah.
So that brings up a good point. Typically at the end of the year, I think December, you guys do goals, or at least the conversation
Maybe in
starts.
January.
January?
January.
Okay.
So for sure, also maybe by the January meeting, we want to have the,
Environmental award applications to review.
yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Busy next couple months,
Yeah, that's
Yep.
good.
but that's good because it's, my other roles slow down at this time of year, so.
Perfect.
Perfect. We balance it
Oh,
out.
Perfect. Okay, do you have anything else for us?
I was just gonna say environmental studies group, so Brad covered it.
Beautiful.
Okay, which is obviously December. Well, in that case, our next meeting will be on Monday, November 6th. Same time, same place. See y'all then.
Aaron?
Motion to adjourn, anyone?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I wasn't going to say this. Last time I said.